Hi folks, I'm back again. This is part two of my selection of songs from my lifetime and before, and these are songs that tell a story. I hope you enjoyed part one. This is part two. There were 10 songs I listed in part one, and there might even be more than 10 in part two. I'm trying to keep the numbers down, but they just sort of grow and grow. So this time I'm not even going to include the lyrics. You can look up the lyrics yourself. My next story song is The Boxer, sung by Simon and Garfunkel and taken from their Bridge Over Troubled Water album from 1970. This was released just before they broke up for the first time. The song was penned, like all the other songs on the album, by Paul Simon, and he told years later of how the song was a bit of a reaction to all the criticisms and stuff that he was receiving for who he was and what he was and all the rest of it. And like a boxer, he has taken a few hits and fallen and such like. It's a powerful, emotive song of struggle versus people who would always put you down. Anyway, this is The Boxer. And it's just an iconic song, and many of the passages within it are inspired by the Bible, and he's lifted a number of lines, biblical lines, and included them. Brilliant song, one of my favourites. And what about this song? Hard-hitting social commentary type song by Harry Chapin, Cats in the Cradle, released 1974 on an album called Verities and Balderdash. It's a sort of a rock folk song, and it reached #1 in the American Billboard song listings. The song's to do with wrong work ethic, being a workaholic and winding up with a problematic family life where the father becomes distant from his son, and it's a song about neglect, and it's a song about poor father-son relationship, and it's a song where the sins of the father are repeated and replicated in the son. And when the son, the tables are turned and the son grows up and he has no time for his elderly father. Harry Chapin unfortunately died in 1981. He was only 38. And his songs are very deep and melodic, and they're songs that we remember. This song is just about procrastination and missed family opportunities. This is sort of a modern parable. Chapin said himself about the song that the words of the song scare me half to death. He was a very popular guy, a very thoughtful, considered guy, or considerate, and I liked in particular his song "Flowers Are Red." So he's worth listening to. Harry Chapin. Here we have Leo Sayer from 1975 and his song "Moonlighting." It's the story of a teenage elopement to Gretna Green. The girl was possibly a month or two underage, and they were scared that the parents would try and stop them, or the police would try and stop them. So they do a midnight flit. And the words are very, very clever, and the tune is very, very catchy. Do you maybe remember this singer? Can you recognise him? I'll give you a second. He's now in this photograph, he's 76. He's now 80. And this is Chris Farlow, who charted big time back in 1966 with the Richard Jagger composition Out of Time. And it tells a story of a girl who leaves her boyfriend high and dry, and then she comes running back. Brilliant, brilliant, thumping 60s rock song. Love it. And this guy sings as well, age 76, as he did back whenever he was in his 20s. Chris Farlow, Out of Time, brings back memories galore for me. This is a bit of a different choice for me as regards a story. It's the story of a mother and her daughter who aren't accepted where they're living, and it's made very clear by the stares and the lack of warmth from the people in the street, and it might be because of their dress or the way they live their lives, but they're not acceptable in that community. So they move on to somewhere that is accepting. And this was a song issued in 2013 by Swedish DJ Avicii. And this is basically house music. I don't know what house music really is. I suppose it's a bit of club, electronic dance type music. And you're probably saying to yourself, what is he listening to that for? But actually this is very catchy tune, and it's a mixture of country and folk and this electronic dance music, EDM for short. See how with it I am, folks. The song was put together, or this was put together by this Avicii boyo and Mike Esger and Alio Black, who sang the limited vocals on it. It was written in 2 hours, and it topped the UK charts, and very, very disappointing. I just don't understand why or how this young man Avicii died. Such a talented guy. I've listened to several other of his contributions, musical contributions, and you know, they are really good. And I'm outside of that genre usually, but you know, I can see such talent there. So very, very interesting sort of story behind this, especially if you watch the official video. This is Clifford T Ward, his Home Thoughts album released in 1973, and the song that I'm taking off this is Time the Magician, and it, you know, it's the singer looks back on his first meeting with his wife, and how it all has panned out, and things have been good. Time the Magician played a few old tricks on us. You know, the passage of time has crept up on us all, and we can all reminisce. And an excellent song. I heard this first down in Stranmillis College. It was introduced to me by good friends Kenny Deans and Annie Bammer. Don't know where they are now. So it brings back an awful lot of happy memories, and I played it incessantly. So there we are. Clifford T Ward died aged 54. He was a school teacher, taught English, love of music, love of words, and he developed multiple sclerosis. And on his last album, he produced 11 albums. He crawled to the recording studio. He was in so much discomfort, and he sealed the 11th album before he died. Really nice guy. Remembered mostly for his top 10 hit called "Gay," a dedicated song dedicated to his daughter, I believe. This is the very talented Justin Hayward when he was singing with the Moody Blues. And the song that I want to focus on is a song written by him. It's called "I Know You're Out There Somewhere," and it's from the album Sur l'Amour, and which was released in 1988. And if you watch the YouTube video, the official video of this, you'll understand it a bit better. Again, like Katy Perry, he sings of first love and lost love and all the angst and all the rest of it that is attached to that. And but the meaning of his song is slightly different, because he is telling us, you know, yes, have the happy memory, but don't try to go back there. It's gone. The whole situation is different. The people have aged, and you know, you can't recreate what happened 25 years ago. People and circumstances have changed, and it won't be the same. So don't try to go back there. Now, this certainly wasn't one of the Moody Blues' best known songs as regards record sales, but it was a well-loved song. And Justin Hayward tells us that it's his personal favourite of all the songs that he wrote. So resist the temptation to find out what happened to your first love. Everybody has that sort of temptation. Don't go there. Best not find out. Leave it as a nice memory. Wise words, Justin. Do you remember this trio here? I'll give you a second or two to think. If you're a certain age, you will know who this is. This is Peter, Paul and Mary. A wonderful singing trio, and they released quite a number of LPs, and we bought one of them. And on the the album of the same name, Peter, Paul and Mary, was a song called "Kisses Sweeter Than Wine," and it again is a story song. It sort of is reminiscing about the past, a bit like "Time the Magician" from Clifford T Ward. How a young man and a young girl met together, fell in love, had children and all the rest of it, and lived their lives. And it's a happy song. It's a positive song, like "Time the Magician" again. Basically along the same lines. And this was released on that LP in 1966. And I was 13 then, and that's when I heard this song. My brother brought it back from America. He had been over to America working, and he brought home a clatter of LPs that he had bought over there. And this was one of the tracks that I enjoyed most of all. Do you remember this LP cover? This is the original Rolling Stones, and they're a rough-looking crew, rough looking but extremely smart and extremely talented. And this is the Aftermath LP, and I had this LP, and on that LP, and this came out in 1966, on that LP was the song Mother's Little Helper, and it's a social commentary on housewives abusing prescription drugs. And the Rolling Stones were very, very observant and perceptive in their songwriting. This is Mick Jagger and Keith Richards offering, and they picked up on what they saw happening around them. Young suburban wives abusing prescription drugs, and this was there was a lot of black humour in this song, and it was you know, ironic, and they point this irony out themselves because they were heavily into drugs, some of them as well. So they were pointing the finger at suburban housewives. A very, very cynical take on suburban housewives, has to be said. Some might say today that the drug of choice has moved to being wine, and they'll probably be right. It's more socially acceptable, of course. So this was a social commentary song, and very, very clever words, and a good wee tune, and I like it. This is Sailing to Philadelphia, sung and written by the evergreen Mark Knopfler, former lead singer of Dire Straits. And Mark Knopfler is just such a talented guy. He has so many musical strings to his bow, and this is sort of a folksy country type song, and it speaks about emigration, it speaks about the new world, and the track is drawn from Mason and Dixon, a novel by Thomas Pynchon about two Geordie lads surveying parts of America, and they establish the border. They are believed to have established the border separating Pennsylvania and Delaware from Maryland and Virginia, and this was in and around the 1700s. And this border became known as the Mason-Dixon line, and it was used in the 1820s to differentiate between the northern United States and the southern states of the United States. It was used at that time. On this song he duets with another old favourite of mine, James Taylor, who sings the part of one of the guys.